Somewhere in your house right now, there is a cabinet. Inside it, pills, bottles, maybe a thermometer. Something for pain, something for fever, something for sleep. You have probably never thought twice about any of it. When something goes wrong with your body, you know exactly what to do. You call someone, you take something, you get better. For 99% of human history, that cabinet did not exist. There was no doctor to call, no hospital to drive to, no pill to swallow. When your body broke down 100,000 years ago, you were alone with whatever your group knew, whatever the land around you offered, and whatever your body could fight off on its own. And here is the part that should stop you cold. They survived. Not just occasionally, not just the strong ones. Entire communities of ancient humans lived through infections, broken bones, tooth decay, parasites, and injuries that would have seemed like certain death for hundreds of thousands of years before anyone invented medicine. So what did they actually do? The answer is stranger, darker, and more fascinating than anything you learned in school. Let's start with the bones, because bones remember. When archaeologists excavate ancient human remains, they are not just counting the dead, they are reading a medical record, and what that record shows has genuinely shocked the field. In 2012, researchers studying a Neanderthal skeleton found at Shanidar cave in Iraq made a finding that reframed everything. The individual, known as Shanidar 1, had survived to old age remarkable in itself, but what the bones showed was almost impossible to accept. His right arm had been amputated or had withered completely from a traumatic injury early in life. He had severe arthritis. One eye socket showed damage, suggesting he had been partially or fully blind in that eye. He had a healed head wound, and he had a degenerative bone disease affecting his legs and feet. This man could not have hunted. He could not have gathered food efficiently. He could not have kept up with a moving group. He was, by every survival metric, a burden. And yet he lived to be between 40 and 50 years old. In the Paleolithic era, that was ancient. There is only one explanation. Someone took care of him. For years, possibly decades. His group fed him, protected him, and kept him alive long after the moment when abandoning him would have been the rational choice. This was not an isolated case. Across dozens of archaeological sites, researchers have found ancient human remains showing healed injuries that required long recovery periods. Broken legs that knitted back together cleanly, infections that the body fought off, dental abscesses that were somehow survived. All of them requiring care, rest, and protection from a group that chose, deliberately, to provide it. The first human medicine was not a plant or a ritual. It was a decision, the decision to stay. But they did not rely on care alone. They were also, from very early on, using the world around them. The oldest direct evidence of medicinal plant use dates to roughly 60,000 years ago, again from Shanidar cave. When archaeologist Ralph Selecki excavated the site in the 1950s, he found something unexpected around one of the burials: pollen, enormous quantities of it, from at least 8 different plant species. Yarrow, groundsel, ephedra, grape hyacinth, all of them clustered directly around the body. Selecki argued that the plants had been deliberately placed, that this was a flower burial, and that the species chosen were not random. Almost every plant identified at the site has known medicinal properties. Yarrow is a natural antiseptic and fever reducer, still used in herbal medicine today. Ephedra contains compounds that became the basis for modern decongestants. Groundsel has anti-inflammatory properties. Later, researchers debated whether gerbils had simply moved the pollen around underground. The argument still goes on. But what nobody debates is this. By 60,000 years ago, and almost certainly long before that, ancient humans knew which plants did something to the body when consumed. They had been building that knowledge for generations, passed down the same way everything else was passed down, through watching, through doing, through telling. And the pharmacopoeia they assembled, through nothing but observation and memory, was extraordinary. Researchers studying traditional hunter-gatherer groups still living close to their ancestral practices have documented knowledge of hundreds of plant species with genuine pharmacological activity. Willow bark, which contains salicylic acid, the active compound in aspirin, certain molds that function as primitive antibiotics, plants that induce vomiting to purge poison, plants that slow bleeding, plants that dull pain, plants that reduce fever. They did not know why these things worked. They did not need to. They knew that they worked, and they remembered it. For thousands of generations, that was enough.